And we're live. Good morning, guys and girls. Welcome to another installment of the AFL Tribunal stream here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. This is our first for 2025. We are here because Adam Cerra was suspended for striking, I believe it was. And we are going to follow all the updates. 10:30 in the morning for the start time. Very strange. I'm a bit shocked that we're doing this, but such is the tribunal and such is footy, such is life. Things happen. So basically we'll just follow along with all the updates as we get them. I say this every time we do one of these streams. I can't see this taking that long. 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops, like if that. I just don't know how long this needs to take. But again, I said that last time we were here for George. I said, actually, and George is the interesting one because I think George Hewitt, Lockie Neal is a very similar case that they might look at today. So anyway, we're going to follow it along. I'm going to play the footage in question just one more time. And what I'm also going to do is I want to just be crystal clear on the actual suspension. So let me just find that. Okay, so here's the footage. We'll start there. Played in super slow motion. It's a bit stiff. It's a bit stiff. So having seen that again, what do you think will be the outcome here? I think at the end of the day, what is going to happen is that Carlton will try and bring this down from intentional to careless. We will see. But the latest update is Carlton says this is not a strike. And if it is, it should be classified as careless rather than intentional. There you go. Success on either front would mean Cerra is free to play. Also interesting to note, the Mitch Hinge case is scheduled to be heard at 11:45 this morning. So you would think that they think this shouldn't take long as well. So we will see. And for those wondering, I think because of the Paul Curtis hearing last night and also the Alex Toru hearing last night, that's why they had to move this one to today. They've got Cerra, they've got Hinge, Jai Simpkin is the North Melbourne are challenging a fine hander to him. Port forward Mitch Georgiadis will challenge his fine for tripping Dylan Stevens. Also, did you guys know that Jack Silvani was fined for careless contact with an umpire? Because we're also challenging that today. I wasn't aware that it happened. I thought it was all just from the George Hewitt incident at the start of the game. But apparently Jack Silvani made contact with an umpire as well. I missed it. I didn't notice it, didn't see it. So that's also happening. Bose should be charged with acting. He got hit and grabbed the other side of his face, for lack of a better term. He flopped. Yeah, that's exactly how I saw it as well. I thought he got hit on this side, pushed his face that side, and then grabbed his face that side as he fell down. Carlton tax on display. It would seem that way. Ooh. No Peter O'Farrell for the Blues today. It marks the return of Chris Townsend, who led Patrick Cripps's successful and not at all controversial appeal in 2022. So Chris Townsend is representing the Blues this morning. Townsend thanks the AFL for scheduling this tribunal on a Wednesday morning rather than last night. I agree. I think it's better to have it done in the morning than... I mean, this would have gone potentially through till 10, 10:30, 11 as a starting point. It's too late, I would have thought. Hello, Vince. Good to see you, mate. How can Ches get done for that and Stewart not get done for punching Williams in the guts with a fist? Oh, I don't know if it was a fist. Thought it was an open hand. Good evening to you, Equality. Good evening from New York City. The fact that this is happening at all is a disgrace, but sadly typical. Yeah. Seems like it's a box ticking exercise. Latest update from the latest submission from Carlton. Townsend argues it's so clear on the evidence. Both players are trying to push each other away. If it isn't a strike. Sorry, it isn't a strike. If it was, it's because it went wrong, in which case it's careless. That's actually brilliant. Brilliant, you said, if you ask me. Bring this down to careless, take the fine, and move on. Chris Townsend. Come on, man. Whoop. So that's the latest. Do you want me to write down these updates in the chat here? Or are you just happy for me to just read them out? I'm reading them from David Zeta's Twitter account, by the way. It was a fist. I have to watch it again. He's spot on, fair. Surely he gets off. The player had a delayed fall. Push me, shove you. Damien, pretty much. Townsend makes a note that Adam Cerra is initially holding space. Just read them out? All right. I can read them out. Laura Kane explained why Hewitt's was a fine last year instead of a week. Same situation. Yeah, from memory, when we did the Hewitt one, they were looking at incidents off the ball, but the Hewitt one was right near the contest. And I actually think this one is closer to the contest than that one. Hello, Lachlan R. Thank you for the super sticker. Bussy boy, you want me to write them in? Okay. I'll write them in. Just for you. No. See how I can do this. There you go. That's the latest update. So again, it's so clear on the evidence. Both players are trying to push each other away. It isn't a strike. If it was, it's because it went wrong, in which case it's careless. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a strike or do you think it's a push? Ooh. Let me get it up again. Someone mentioned last night there's a different angle. Cerra's alleged strike on Bose isn't even visible on the one angle we've seen, and Bose falls down well after the strike, not from the strike itself. Brunoski, you think it was a push? It's not a strike? I think for the purposes of this, it would work in our favor if we said it was a strike and therefore said it was careless. But I agree, it was a pushing action. It was similar to Hewitt. It was like Hewitt was the pushing action which went onto Lachie Neale's chin. This one was the open hand pushing which went into Bose's face, I thought. All right. Latest update. So the latest update reads, the two-handed push is instigated by Bose. Cerra, expecting it, puts a two-handed push back to the Geelong player. It was a typical grapple between players at stoppages. Debbie, good morning. It's a push. You could push harder. Yeah, I think it's a push, and I think it's got a bit more weight to it because I think Bose goes down and really emphasizes the contact, trying to draw a free kick, which most players do anyway. Jack, you think it's too hard to tell? Adam Cerra will now give evidence. There's another angle from behind which looks even less damning. Can you link me to it by any chance? I would love to find it. Let me see. Adam Cerra. Let's see. Where do I find the angle? Oh, yeah? No. No, it's the same angle. This is the video that I've got. I'm going to play it again. Game's becoming so soft. There's nothing in it. Move on and stop wasting lawyers and clubs' time. Yeah. It's a push at best. He got bitch slapped. It went to ground like a soccer player. Hewitt on Neale was not the same. Bose leaned his face in. Let's take a look. So Bose is the first one right there to put that first hand up and initiate. Cerra reacts. I just think he gets him high there. Right there. Boom. Oh no, he's killed him. Oh, and I even think there's a mini apology with his left hand. It was not. I don't think it was intentional. Okay. Adam Cerra. He's not under oath because this is not a real legal hearing. So we're just waiting for evidence to come from Adam Cerra. What do I think about this game becoming a touch sport? I don't think it's becoming a touch sport. I think we focus in on these situations, especially when there's Carlton players involved. I still think it's a brutal game. Really should be working. Can't miss this. Yeah, there's 195 of you here at 10:45 in the morning. How are you watching this, by the way? Is this just on like a second screen at home, at work? Like, what are you all doing today? I don't believe he even pushed. Almost looks like he walks into it and buckles his body like he'd been shot and slowly fell over. Give Bose the Oscar now. Did you guys also see there's going to be, I just saw this morning, so there's going to be, this is in other news, if you're joining us a little late. Firstly, Jack Silvani will be contesting a fine that was given, well, Carlton will be contesting a fine that was given to Jack Silvani for making contact with an umpire, which I was not aware of. And also a new update, something completely different. The AFL last night wrote to clubs informing them that the stand rule will be a focus this week after concerns of a creep by some teams. The league is also concerned by a rise in umpire contact and is threatening more free kicks and suspension if it doesn't cease. I don't know if you've all seen the footage. I think some of you have, but I think some of the teams they're just not enforcing the stand rules like what they were last year. And some players are getting to the mark and then slowly creeping to cut off that 45 kick. So we've got to be onto that. You can just tell that there's going to be a few free kicks. I'm kind of happy that we're playing on a Saturday because Thursday, Friday night, I think we'll see the overcorrection. Is there any other camera angles? Not that I can see, unless someone's got another camera angle. Then yeah. All right. Update. Cerra. My role here is to play. We call it the cover role, which is pretty much stopping anything through the front of the stoppage for the opposition. Cerra then goes on to say, Bose comes to me. Yeah, Bose comes to me and goes to engage through a push. My reaction was to push him back to protect my space, as we do 100 times a game. Yeah, Ches, you let him know, mate. A little bit of venom in the end of that. Suspend or fine Bose for staging. Well, yeah. I thought he definitely played up the contact. Cameron, if you can find it on Twitter, the other angle, that would be amazing. I want these hearings streamed. So do I. Imagine that. Imagine us doing a watch along, sharing the screen and having the hearing right there. Do you think that would increase our level of understanding of the process or make it more complex? AFL is wasting resources on a nothing incident. All right. Cerra says the following. He says in his latest submission, I put my arm out after. I was surprised to get him high. It was an accident. As the ball went away and we were running off, I checked on him and apologized. He said he was all good. He was well aware it was an accident. I think if you really want to blow up footy fan this on this day, you suspend Cerra. There's just no way. There's just no way this suspension holds up. Looks like Bose loses his stability. Correct me if I'm wrong. Insufficient video evidence to claim any strike at all. That's fair. Also, shout out to David's. You know what? Shout out to David Zeta. I'm going to put David Zeta's Twitter profile here, or X profile. Get around David Zeta. Cerra isn't even looking at him. From that angle, it's inconclusive. There's got to be a better angle. Otherwise, they have to throw it out. Yeah. I wonder if there's an umpire that will be giving evidence here. I'll tell you what, Zeta's given us a lot of updates. Another submission here. Cerra. Complete accident. We're doing that 100 times a game. Engaging body work. It's part of the midfield. Second screen on the side. Working from home. Love that. Finished eating dinner. Watching on the desktop, on the phone. Day off work. Is there anywhere we can listen to the tribunal on X? Yeah, I'll be giving live updates. I'm really just reading out David Zeta's tweets, but also tying it all in together with your comments as well. I think eventually we'll get there. Maybe not so much a video live stream, but even an audio live. Oh, no, you want video. It's not that hard. Jake, you're listening on your AirPods while working, trying. Maz, you're on a break from work, watching from home, watching from home, watching from home, working remotely. JSOS appearing pre or post surgery. What are my thoughts on Luke Parker's touch footy comments? I think it's a bit overblown. I think it's just an emotional reaction, which fair enough. I personally thought Curtis should have been suspended, not for 3 weeks, but I thought he should have been suspended. So the latest update is just a reinforcement that it was an accident. We're doing that 100 times a game, engaging bodywork. It's part of the midfield. At the start of the game, the main umpire got knocked out. Yeah, so I believe Hewitt was fined for that. And Jack Silvani hit an umpire as well, or made contact. I didn't know it happened until I saw the schedule this morning. The stand rule is complete BS and should be dropped entirely. They can enforce players not straying over the mark without idiotic and stand requirement. And on top of it, I agree. That was so hot in it last year, and you couldn't even jump up and down. So I completely agree with that. I just want to put this one up. Thought this was telling. Got the stream on in class. Hello, kids. Hello and welcome to the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. That's great. Hello, Faz. I think they don't have it live for privacy. I guess, but privacy for who? Whose privacy do you think is protected in that case? Waste of resources here. Yeah, it is. Although it is an excuse to hang out with you lot on a Wednesday morning. He's under oath. Ask him about TDK. Surely the thing we need to call time on here is Michael Christian. The resources waste on these things is just escalating, as is fan dissatisfaction. Well, I think it's the grading system, the guidelines, or the matrix, whatever they call it. I think that's what needs to be updated. If we lose this tribunal hearing, we'll just be appealing again. Could be a long week. We will absolutely appeal this if we lose, I feel. If that constitutes a strike these days, and 8 players every game would be suspended. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's a slippery slope if they're calling it a strike. Cerra admitting to an accidental strike seems to match the club's position, so it's a strategy whether that's really what happened or not. Hello, Zach. Stanton King watching on my phone at work in the machine. Love it. Just got home from the club, spending lots of money for thick jackets. Hello, Matula. David, you don't agree? Curtis takes him to his knees. That was just unfortunate for Sin. Fair. You don't know how I kept a straight face when talking to Paul and fan cams. You'd be surprised how many times I keep a straight face while talking to anyone on the fan cams. George Hewitt was pushed into the umpire. Shouldn't the player pushing be reprimanded instead? Let's see if I can find the footage. George Hewitt, umpire. Nah. Could have sworn I saw it somewhere. I want to see the Jack Silvani umpire collision. That's the one that I've missed out on. So again, for those coming late, Jack Silvani is also going to be, well, Carlton are contesting a fine given to Jack Silvani for making contact with an umpire. When is the tribunal? Mate, right now. Yeah. Latest update is basically just Cerra reinforcing that it's an action that happens 100 times a game. Can sort of understand the privacy angle, as apparently there are occasional gentlemen's agreements between players and nobody wants to be on public video, obviously lying. Okay. That's fair. Maz, you're wearing your BA hoodie, drinking a nice cup of tea, feeling all snug and warm. Yeah. BA hoodie is back. Now the weather's starting to get nice and cold. Good morning, Mr. Niani. Yeah. This is where I think the next argument will go. Laura Kane made it really clear that if these incidents happen around a stoppage, it's classed as careless, not intentional. I think that's exactly where we're going to go. I think that's exactly where this hearing will eventually get to. What's the reason for contesting a fine? Well, I don't know. My best guess is that the club feels that the collision with the umpire wasn't Jack's fault or whatever else. Jack Silvani is a written submission. But I think also now that we've seen the latest update from Sam Edmund, that the AFL has written to the clubs, informing them that they're concerned about a rise in umpire contact and threatening to give away more free kicks and suspensions. I think it's going to be hard to change that. Connor Rogers, we are due a brew. We are due a brew. The Navy brew. Let's get it back. By the way, guys, if anyone wants to join me at any point during this show, there's the link. Good morning, Gina. Bring back Gil. Now we want Gil. Joe, you've ignored the message 6 times. I'm not shocked Dangerfield never gets fined. He worked for the AFLPA. He always gets off. He always seems to have his team have stuff put under the rug, e.g., well, okay, mate, so there's a reason why I'm not going to be bringing that up. And there's also a reason why that is not being reported on. If you don't understand the legal system and the legalities behind that, then I can't help you. I don't get why people are saying that it should be reported on. It can't. It legally cannot. All right, we have an update from Mr. Townsend. Townsend notes this incident is in play, which he says marks a critical distinction from other incidents. It hasn't got those obvious signs that go with intention. There's an angle from behind that was shown on the midweek tackle last night from 7 minutes into the show. Oof, I would love to see it. I still agree that tribunals should be broadcast to the public just because demystifying the process would do wonders. I agree. I agree with that. These fines accumulate. The more you make contact with an umpire, the higher the fine. First, $1,000, etc. Yes, Joe, it's completely different. One is in the middle of a proceeding. The other one wasn't. Gary Lyon thinks everything is broken except his own moral superiority. What are we? We are tracking onto half an hour. This can't take long. This incident is in play, which he says marks a critical distinction from other incidents. It hasn't got those obvious signs that go with intention. Does anybody remember? Other incidents like this Cerra one happening that we can that were cited that we can look up? I remember Hewitt from last year. Not that it was the same. I mean, I want to get this up. Hang on. I want to find it. George Hewitt. Neil. Oh, Jesse Hogan on Lewis Young. Good call. Okay, I'm going to grab that one up. So this one. Hang on. Let me find the Lewis Young one. Where is it? Jesse Hogan, Lewis Young. Jesse Hogan was fined from memory. Oh, yeah. And this was clearly off the ball. I'm going to bring it up again. So Lewis obviously initiates. First one to push. Oh, mate. Open fist. Bang. There you go. Shout out Lewis Young not going to ground there. No other updates. No other updates here. Mitch Hinge, I think, is going to be going through something similar. Can actually see the contact though. Huge difference. True. There's always argy-bargy between players at stoppage. Cripper cops it 100 times per game. Dangerfield and Savani were going at it as well in the first quarter of the game. Yeah. Are they dropping those lines at the start of the hearings again to the effect of don't use previous cases in this trial? Yeah. Hinge needs to get up as well. I haven't seen the Hinge one. Let me see. Are there any Adelaide Crows supporters here? Oh, is that what Hinge got? What? Okay, I'm going to show you Mitch Hinge. Hey, Kate, nothing yet. The writing on the bottom of the screen is the latest update that we have. So Chris Townsend is representing Carlton. This is Mitch Hinge, which is scheduled to take place at 11:45. Check this out. So he's here to the right of screen. He's not in screen right now. Let me see that. Let me just go back here. Is that a closed fist? No. Well, kind of. Whoa. I don't know. How do you see that one? That looks a little bit like that. Nobody yet. The link is open for anyone to join. I don't know if it's too far up. If anybody wants to tune in. So the Crows are going to contest whether it was intentional. Pushing it basically doing the exact same thing as what we are. We're trying to argue that it's careless instead of intentional. And if that is agreed to, then it's going to be a fine. No updates. Okay. Here we go. The AFL have made a submission. And there's a new name that we need to be aware of here. Okay. So Amara Hughes from the AFL has 4 reasons that this is an intentional strike. Number 1, the guidelines note a strike will be regarded as intentional where a player delivers a blow with the intention of striking. Number 2, Cerra looking at Bose when he made contact with him. Number 3, the strike is in response to a jostle with Bose. Number 4, it was a forceful blow. What happened here is not what's expected in a jostling contest. This is where it's tricky by essentially admitting to a strike and then the AFL making that submission. Because if Cerra's is classified as a strike, then Mitch Hinge will definitely be classified as a strike. This is not a good update, guys. This is not a good update. Guidelines note a strike will be regarded as intentional where a player delivers a blow with the intention of striking. All right, let's go back to the footage because there's one point here which I think is really interesting. Cerra looking at Bose when he made contact with him. Let's just do this again. Yeah, okay. He is looking at him. Kind of. Okay. I need a new update now. If the tribunal agree with this, I think he'll definitely get a week. He's looking away. Well, I think he initially looks and then starts looking away. It's milliseconds. Who's Amara Hughes? Amara Hughes is a lawyer, accepts briefs in all areas of criminal and quasi-criminal law, as well as administrative law. She's a barrister. If it's the same one. Have a look. The AFL administration. She was part of the submissions against Patrick Voss and why it was severe impact, I think. Oh, no, sorry. After the hike. Yeah, Patrick Voss on Flossstone. Okay. General Counsel. Name again? Amara Hughes. Great name. AFL Tribunal Counsel. So there's Sally Flynn, Lisa Hannon, Nick Payne, Andrew Woods, Sam Bird, Amara Hughes, Georgie Coleman. Still never understood why the AFL has a lawyer making the case. Shouldn't it just be our lawyer pleading to the tribunal and then... Well, it's essentially Adam Cerra versus the AFL, and the tribunal makes the decision. All right. There is a counter argument from Mr. Townsend. They say there's 100 to 120 stoppages a game. There's groups of 2 or 3 players tangled up. It is standard play at stoppage to grapple, push, and shove. Can you strike someone with an open hand? Yes, you can. You can if you get them like that, in theory. But it was a pushing motion. In my uneducated opinion, a push is not a strike, and I believe Cerra was pushing, not striking. I'm with you on this. It's basically a jumper punch gone wrong. It's far too soft for a week, but look at the tackles getting 3 weeks. The AFL and the tribunal and the MRO are disgraceful. Yeah, we're officially into this is taking too long time now. Insufficient force to constitute a strike. Good point. Watching footage from the Hewitt incident, he's getting shepherded by his opponent moments before contact with the umpire, but wasn't pushed into the umpire like someone suggested. Yeah, I don't think he was either. I think he was just... I don't think he's directly looking at him. It's, yeah. So right there. So let's go. So there I think he is. There I think he's not. Does that make sense? I don't know if that shows well. So like, this is before Bose initiates. So push, he's looking at him. I think he's still looking at him. And then there is where he starts turning right, the way I see it. That was pretty strong from the AFL. Good response from them. Yeah. So just again, if you're just joining, the AFL are arguing that there's 4 reasons that they think this is an intentional strike. Number 1 is that the guidelines make note that a strike will be regarded as intentional, where a player delivers a blow with the intention of striking. Has Cerra delivered a blow? What's the definition of a blow? I don't know why I asked that on a live stream. Blow. See, it's getting too legal here, which this is an administrative law procedure. Respect to AFL. AFL guidelines. I think we can use the definition of blow if we need to appeal this at a later stage. So that's the first reason why the AFL are arguing that it's an intentional strike. Jack Bowe should be called to the witness stand and cross. He should be made to get up there and tell the world that he was struck. That's what I think, because I don't think he'd do it. Fresh update. Based on all the evidence and the honest evidence of Cerra, all he ever meant to do was push a player away who was leaning into and pushing him with both hands. So let me just circle back the AFL's argument. 4 reasons why it's a blow. Number 1 is because the guidelines note a strike will be regarded as intentional where a player delivers a blow with the intention of striking. Number 2, Cerra was looking at Bowes when he made contact with him. Number 3, the strike is in response to a jostle with Bowes. And number 4, it was a forceful blow. It was a forceful blow. What happened here is not what's expected in a jostling contest. What do you mean? What is expected in a jostling contest then? It's point number 1 that scares me because they're relying on the guidelines. The guidelines need an overhaul. If that's the case, Hogan should never have gotten off from hitting Lewis Young. Exactly. Pushing is not striking. Ches defending Bowes' action. If Ches is suspended, then danger should be also for the charge on Sard. Do you mean the one in the 4th quarter where he broke through the contest? Yeah, we're going down a real rabbit hole here. We are going down some sort of a rabbit hole here. If they open up this can of worms and an open hand push is constituted as a strike, you're going to see more acting. That's what I think will happen. Tribunal is guilty until proven. Show us the money. The argument was Cerra's action intentional or careless? It cannot be intentional if he is preoccupied with a stoppage, with the jostling becoming secondary. That's true. Oh, David, equality. Hey, mate.
Hi, good morning, good evening, wherever you are on the planet.
You are tuning in from New York City.
Yes. Yeah, it's what is it? After 9 o'clock in the evening. So it's a good hour.
What are you making? The tribunal is now deliberating, by the way, so we might have a decision soon.
Going along with this whole can of worms deal about what constitutes a strike and a blow and whatever, I'm thinking about the NBA flagrant foul rules, which they had to develop. What's the difference between a regular smack and what's something flagrant? Intentional, because they have that whole thing. In the NBA, the rules with the flagrant now is if there's a wind up and the hit. So if they're just doing this, that's not like intent to strike. That's arm movement and whatever, which can also be against the rules depending on whatever. But an actual whack is they make a very big point of saying, okay, there's the wind up and then there's the contact. So without the wind up, you can't really say that there's intent. So with this is obviously just back and forth, no intent to strike, because the intent is clearly in Cerra's words and what little you can see in the video. The intent is, the jostling back and forth. Zero intent to strike, zero video evidence of it. And then if we're going to get into a definition for future legal rabbit hole stuff, very simple. Well, not simple, straightforward. There's the wind up and then there's a contact. Without the wind up, you can't say he was trying to do anything.
Well, what that reminds me of is, so there's the Cerra push, and then when you talk about a wind up, I think the Connor Nash. Hogan, Connor Nash. Hinge, yeah, potentially, but Connor Nash actually wound up and there was a swinging motion, and in basketball terms, that'd be a flagrant.
Every time Zach Butters doesn't get suspended, just gets a fun. he's
Yeah.
It is pretty straightforward if you want to really get into it. There are ways to separate this very clearly, to make a very clear distinction between this kind of shoving and an actual intent to strike. Like a weird example would be, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, Gary Rowan was just kind of exchanging, similar to like what Jack and Dangerfield were doing with the smacking each other with the fist. You can't see in the camera. They're punching back and forth. There's a little bit like exchanging, not even looking at each other, and accidentally, I forget who the opponent was, kind of leaned into Gary Rowan, and Gary Rowan just decked him, just knocked him out.
Yeah.
Because he was doing the same thing, which if you're not looking at somebody, it's hard to say you intended, but he had the fist out. But that's one of those. They're exchanging stuff as part of a natural wrestling match, normal stuff, and then even with Bose, he kind of ducks into it all of a sudden. He's turned to his right because he's doing something, even before any contact is made, and you can't see any contact. So, this is nonsense. But
yeah, I mean it is.
This is the Carlton tax.
We can make things as complex as we wish, and I think we've just made this complex.
There's a path to make it complex, but make it a clear distinction between one and the other.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go into it, you can go into it, but it's very possible to do that because it's been done elsewhere. And here, there's zero evidence of anything. I mean, you can't even tell. You can barely see that there's contact between them.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting point too from Joe. Like, yeah, the AFL doesn't allow comparison. If they introduce precedent as a lever to pull,
they talk about it. Come on.
I think they
do.
I think they made an update this year, didn't they? That they weren't going to be using precedent, but they still do. Yeah, they have to.
It's nonsense, and they have to. Otherwise, they can't have any rules at all.
True. He will get off. Hello, Marzibar. Do you think he'll get off, David?
It should be down to a fine, but you never know how petty they're going to be.
Do you think if
they've agreed to, clearly the Carlton strategy is just, we'll just get it knocked down to a fine and deal with it.
Yeah.
Because he's admitted to the striking, that's their plan. Okay, fine. But it should be a non-call entirely because there's no, you can't, it's not like overturning a goal umpire's call with the video is insufficient evidence to change your call. But come on.
Do you find a difference between the Cerra incident and the Hinge incident?
Vast difference. The Hinge, there wasn't even Hinge's punch was the first contact.
Yeah, true.
It's not remotely the same thing.
Mitch Hinge. Let me just grab that up again.
Obviously the guy was thinking about shoving into him.
Yeah. Well, there was that brace, like what they do at stoppage.
So what? You can't be fined for a brace if somebody punches you.
True.
He played on, obviously, so he doesn't.
That's
high one.
That's like Buddy Franklin nonsense. And which he got off for when Plowman didn't.
It's he really does enter that with the closed fist. Okay. So it's a bit of that one.
There's no contact. Doesn't matter.
That's the first contact.
Contact is the punch. It doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter.
Oof. Yeah. What a sport, hey?
And but this is still nothing compared to where when I first started watching. But I'm glad they've cleaned it up. But
do you think that's what this is really all about?
Sure, which is fine, but this particular one is dumb.
Yeah,
you don't see it. It's only because, as people have said, it's only because Bose flopped, and that's LeBron James' school of acting. Because it's clearly after the contact, like, oh, Hart, what blow has you? It's dumb. It's pathetic. He doesn't go down with the strike.
True.
It's LeBron
which is
James
usually what they
remembering
use.
that he got hit, and then, oh no.
How is everything else going in New York?
Getting better, warming up. Gonna hopefully look forward to a decent summer for a change.
Mm-hmm. What's
pretty good too.
What's on the agenda for summer this time around?
I don't know yet. I got to figure out what's happening with everybody else, or everybody else has to tell me what they're doing, basically, before I can figure it out.
Yeah. Does summer cross over with the footy season as well?
Yeah, it's a summer game for me.
Ah, I see.
I mean, spring and summer. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you make of the game on Sunday?
Well, I have so many questions. Like, what happened to the modern game? Did it go to sleep again? Is it dormant again? Like it did last year and the year before? And the year before?
Is the game style outdated?
I mean, certainly Geelong looked like they were playing an outdated bash and crash style. That's all they could do. Slog from contest to contest. Oh dear, oh dear. And then everybody's. I mean, it just boggles my mind that suddenly everything we're doing is fine. Whereas a minute ago it was, oh no, this is the worst thing, most predictable, terrible, outdated. For 4 games, it was the most outdated, terrible, passé, predictable, stupid, unsustainable, crash and bash. Nobody does that anymore. The modern game speed, the modern game, and then now, oh, you mean if we move the ball with purpose quickly, it works? I mean, that's really what it's about. Is bodies moving ahead, creating targets all day long. Nobody can do anything about that. That's not necessarily the sprinting out of stoppage that everybody wants. I mean, the midfield, what has changed in the midfield between last year and the year before and this year? We have Jagger Smith on the injured list. Otherwise, except for Kennedy, who I missed, it's the same guys, the same one-dimensional, slow midfield who can't do anything except contested footy and nothing else. It's the same. But suddenly it's not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to put out an Amber Alert for the modern game.
Welcome to Carlton fandom.
I know. I wouldn't change it. It's nuts. And
me either.
I understand. I understand what's going on. Growing up a Phoenix Suns fan, I've seen much worse. As far as chaos and insanity and delusion and stupid ownership. And I mean, they're going through another nonsense thing. 3 coaches in 5 years gone. I mean, 3 years. Yeah. I'm sorry, 3 coaches in 3 years fired because the owner's a lunatic.
Yeah. Who have you got winning the NBA championship this year?
Probably Cleveland or OKC. Probably. I was going to say never count out Miami, but they're out. So
yeah.
So it's going to be probably Cleveland or OKC, unless Denver. I mean, maybe Denver.
Are you a believer in Boston? I for some reason I still am.
Mostly yes. But this time, there are teams that are doing it better.
Yeah.
I mean, barring injury. I mean,
Kane.
Cleveland is top defensive team all the way around. Has the defensive player of the year, but otherwise, like, no superstars. It's just a very balanced team, and that can do it. Depending on certain, that can certainly do it. And OKC has the bigger star guys, but Cleveland now has that balance, and the best defense going, which more often than not is going to take you there.
Yep. Pressure contest territory. That is the identity of this football club. Blue collar, period.
What?
We found it.
90s fashion crap.
We found it. We found our identity.
We knew this.
It is the truth. It is the truth. The tribunal is still deliberating.
We knew this in 2023. That was the whole turnaround.
Yeah.
And then we did this again last year until we stopped.
Yeah.
And then the injuries piled up and we can't do anything about that. But it's the same. It's the same thing every year.
Hey, were you aware of Jack Silvani making contact with the umpire? Did you see that?
No, I knew about Hewitt getting pushed into right at the first stoppage, center bounce, but that I didn't know about Jack. I didn't even see anything about that. When you were saying Jack was fined for deliberately, I thought you were going to say he got fined for deliberately getting his hand broken by Dangerfield.
He should have made a reasonable attempt to not break his hand.
Right. See, that would be typical.
He had a duty of care to not make
Not hurt
contact with
himself.
Dangerfield in a way that would hurt himself.
I know, especially since Fogarty actually got suspended for breaking his wrist on Fife.
Oh yeah, that was gather round last year. Yeah.
Yeah. He was trying to punch him in the chest or whatever, and his hand went up and smacked him in the chin or something. But that's where he broke his wrist and he got suspended.
I'm just playing a hypothetical now. What if Cerra doesn't get off and Hinge does?
Well, you got to burn down Lygon Street, don't you?
We will march tomorrow morning to AFL House. We will march.
I mean, that
as
would be.
one.
They can't. And I hope they're not being stupid and well, we got to do both because for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
Well, like equate Cerra with Hinge. Say we can't let both of them. We can't let Cerra off, but not Hinge.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you can't see anything except the flop.
Well, that's the thing. I haven't seen any other footage. It doesn't seem like they're looking at any other footage. Radical motivation. Is Cerra missing training right now? Well, if they have training, then he will be missing training. Yeah. Joe, there's a part of me that wants them to uphold the suspension just to see them. No.
No, that's like wanting them to lose against West Coast and stuff.
Yeah. It's sadistic. There's no way that Hinge can get off and Cerra get a week. I agree.
But are they evil enough to do both? Just out of spite. Well, we can't. I mean, because they're equating the two, obviously.
Well, we've just ticked over an hour. Somehow, the tribunal is still deliberating.
At least they're deliberating. That's faster than before.
What do you think the conversation is? Because let's be honest, I don't think much has been said in the submissions today that they wouldn't have already thought about while they all slept in their beds last night.
Did you ever work retail or in a restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know when a customer asks you to do something and you don't feel like doing it or you're not going to do it, but you got to make them think you did, and you went back in the back room for a few minutes and, oh yeah, that's what's going on right now. Do
you think they're checking social media, reaction, conversation?
Are they allowed? I mean, the actual tribunal, it's 3 people, right? Whatever it is.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. If they are, they shouldn't even be on the committee. They should be banned. I mean, that's pathetic.
Yeah. So we should have a result. I mean, they have said that
behind the goal footage.
Yeah, beef. Can we look at this footage? Can we see? I mean, yeah, it is a push. I do think it is a push.
I mean, you can technically strike somebody with an open palm, but if there's no, I mean, that's the thing. And just because I've been, with the NBA for whatever years, you have and it makes sense the way they do it and the way they're consistent with it. You have the wind up and then you have the contact. Without the wind up, it can't be considered the next level because there isn't an intent because you're not trying. And it's just, so if it's just another one of these, there's no intent to strike, which is what Cerra is saying. So.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff. No, Michael Christian is the match review officer. He's the one that makes the decision to charge the player ultimately. And the people representing the AFL represent the AFL's interest here.
And Christian just represents Collingwood.
Yeah. It all falls into its own little matrix. Like you've got AFL media, which are AFL employees criticizing AFL for AFL media.
Well, that's okay.
Get sick feedback all the time about Cripps getting off. Didn't he get off with the MRO? Well, let's be honest. The superstar rule played into our hands that time.
And they didn't make the ruling based on that was probably the last time they don't make the ruling based on outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's what sealed their attitude towards that.
Yeah. Tim, when are you sending me that jacket? Mate, spinning the wheel next week. Raffle tickets are ready. Members, you are getting a free entry. If Ches gets suspended, we could storm. I'm not kidding. I'd do it. Cerra off, then Joseph, hello, mate. O'Farrell gets Cerra off, and then Harry O'Farrell debuts game this week. Coincidence? I think not. Well, Townsend is the one representing today, but I do see what you're doing there. Hey, David, what changes would you make this week?
Yeah, I mean, you only really need to do the one. Well, assuming Cerra is allowed to play, when we're just replacing Jack, and then so, I would. Well, I mean, I want to bring in Boyd, but I mean, I probably got to do Cowan. Otherwise, no changes. And no changes in usage. Let everybody play where. I mean, no more stupidity. I want to see a couple more rotations through the middle, which they will probably do. But otherwise, keep doing the same thing. Control what you can control. Do what works.
Yeah.
And don't listen to the chatter or the noise about. Just don't listen to anybody.
Yeah. If Cerra gets done, every high fend off now has to be 1 week.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to suspend him. Would be stunned. Bailey Smith slams a ball into the head of a player last week. It's a slap. Wasn't that worse than this? Yeah, well, I mean, that was the definition of intentional. Yeah. Still no updates.
Zach Williams is out too. I forgot about Zach Williams. So that's fine.
Yeah, Zach Williams and Jack Silvani are the two forced.
Well, so then you could do Boyd and Cowan then.
Boyd and Cowan.
And then Zach was playing back. I mean, and so we can be too tall. Oh, not quite too tall down back, more even, and then too short up front, and everybody will go berserk. It's fine.
So berserk. I have a feeling they'll bring in Doc this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's up for it, but I don't know. Just as long as he gets his possessions like organically and not poaching, and then does something with it, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But he was unable to do stuff. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, Tim, any news on Zach? Yeah, it was a calf expected to return between rounds 9 and 10. Was the update.
A lot of people coming back around then.
Yeah. So it's Jack Silvani, hand, availability rounds 9 to 10. Zach Williams, calf, availability rounds 9 to 10. I'd like the AFL to show Christian's reasons for the charge. So, Jeff, there were reasons given. I'll read these out to you. There were 4 reasons given why it was graded as an intentional strike. Let me just find them. The 4 reasons were... Oh, hang on. Number 1, the guidelines will note that a strike will be regarded as intentional where a player delivers a blow with the intention of striking. That's such a legal jargon.
That's fine as long as you can define what that is, which they're not gonna do.
Exactly.
But you can't see anything, so you can't prove anything.
Exactly.
They can't say that's what this is. I mean, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, they can't say that that's what this is.
So that was reason number one. Number two was that Cerra was looking at Bose when he made contact with him. That's reason number two why it's an intentional strike. Reason number three.
I'm sorry. They've fined people and suspended people for not looking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go.
I thought Rory Lobb made an intentional strike on Mason Cox as well.
Yeah. I mean, they do that all the time. I mean, Tom Stewart was barely looking when he punched Zach Williams in the gut. He knew what he was doing, though. He wasn't anywhere. He was 3 feet below the ball.
Reason number three why the AFL graded this as an intentional strike is that the strike is in response to a jostle with Bose. I love how they call it a strike, not a push.
I'm sorry. Could you read that again?
So the third reason why the AFL graded this as an intentional strike was that the strike was in response to a jostle with Bose.
So that means. So what do they call him? What do they call Hinge's strike? That wasn't in response to anything. What? So they're saying we're busting you for retaliation.
Yes.
Brilliant. David Rees-Jones calls your office.
And then the fourth one, which is where I find this is the one that gets me good. It was a forceful blow. What happened here is not what's expected in a jostling contest.
Oh, come on. That's just Rule 1 restated with some nonsense.
I reckon they put this into ChatGPT.
Did the intern do this? That's the same thing as number 1, but adding extra excuse.
Do you know what?
It's a blow. It's a blow because it's a blow. What?
I might have some fun with this on ChatGPT. I want to put these 4 reasons. Hello. These 4 reasons were relied upon to suspend Adam Cerra. Can you help me understand? Is the AFL winding me up?
Yeah, Tatum's tantrum hazard. It's a jumper punch that went a little awry. That's it. Move on. So,
the first one, the guidelines noting that the strike will be regarded as intentional where a player delivers a blow with the intention of striking. This means that under the AFL's rules, if a player clearly tries to hit another player, not just accidental, it's classed as intentional, which carries a higher penalty. They're saying Cerra meant to hit Bose.
Well, of course he did. They're pushing each other. What kind of? But you got to do a little better than that. But okay, well, at least you're getting somewhere.
Yep. Number 2, Cerra was looking at Bose when he made contact. This suggests that Cerra knew exactly who he was hitting and wasn't just flailing around blindly. Looking directly at Bose reinforces the idea that, that it was deliberate.
Sure.
Number 3, the strike was in response to a jostle. This means that Bose may have pushed or jostled Cerra first, which is a common footy interaction. But instead of just pushing back or moving on, Cerra escalated the situation by striking. That shift from typical push and shove to a forceful strike is key here.
Except they're called, but this is circular logic right there. They're calling it a strike because they need to call it a strike in order for you to strike.
Yeah. And then number 4, this reinforces that what Cerra did crossed the line. In footy, some pushing and shoving is tolerated, but the blow Cerra delivered was deemed too forceful and outside normal rough play. It was more like a hit than a jostle.
Which is another rewording of the last one you just read.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I probably wouldn't make a very good lawyer because this just is mind-boggling.
I'm going to write back to ChatGPT. Are you working for the AFL? Oh, do you want the honest verdict? If you think Cerra's suspension was harsh, I can help build a case for that too. Want to go down that path? Absolutely. Absolutely.
No. Oh God, you thought you were going down the rabbit hole before.
This is brilliant. Let me just check if there's an update. There is not an update. It's David Zeta posting selfies.
How does he know? Is he there? Is that how he's? Or how does he know this stuff? Because he does. I
Yeah.
know he's got info before.
Well, I think he gets to sit in. The verdict is in. You sure? Sorry.
Okay.
Where? Okay, hang on. Just waiting for the verdict. I'm on Twitter. I don't see a verdict. I don't see a verdict. No, nothing yet. But ChatGPT has a counter argument. Yes, the guidelines say intentional strikes are suspendable, but what defines a strike versus a push or a fend off can be subjective.
Right.
Cerra's action could reasonably be interpreted as a firm fend or reflexive shove in a heated moment, not a premeditated strike with malicious intent. Also,
Right.
footy is a high contact sport. Unless there's a clear wind up, clench fist, or punching motion, calling it a strike would be stretching the term. Mate, you're on it.
ChatGPT was obviously listening and then just scraped the chat or scraping some NBA discussion, because that's basically it. They know, it can be very subjective, because guys, you can go for a block, you can go for the whatever, and then you just miss. So and then there's obviously after the play, and there are different parts of the play. It's like you're more likely to take the swing than not, but they make it really clear when they're explaining it. The wind up, and they show the video. There's the whole, I'm doing this because you're not doing that, very rare circumstances where you're making a legit play and you're winding up like that. So, and especially when you're not anywhere near the ball.
So from point number 2, this was the one about he was looking at Bose. The counterpoint is just because Cerra looked at Bose doesn't mean he intended to strike him in a dangerous way. Players look at their opponents all the time during jostling or physical contests. Eye contact isn't enough to prove malicious intent. He may simply have been engaging in a typical one-on-one scrap and reacted firmly to being jostled himself.
And so what does it tell you? That these counter arguments are much more coherent and logical than the circular nonsense that they were given for the rule, for the opinion.
Well, number 3 is very similar. Number 3 is interesting. So it was in response to the jostle, was the argument from the AFL. And the counterpoint is exactly, it was part of a jostle. Bose initiated contact. Cerra responded. That's part of footy. If one player starts the physical interaction and the second reacts with a firm push or forearm, that should be play on, or at worst, a fine, not a suspension. Otherwise, we're punishing players for competitive instincts in a contact sport.
Oh, you got it right. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, hire this ChatGPT, fire the first one.
Yeah. Number 4, it was a forceful blow, not expected in a jostling contest. Forceful is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. What's too forceful in a game built on contested ball and body-on-body contact? Unless it left Bose injured or was clearly outside the spirit of footy, for example, a punch to the head, we're heading into over-regulation territory. You could argue this sets a dangerous precedent where players can't physically respond in the moment without risking suspension, even if no damage was done. Wow.
That's very impressive, I have to say.
All right.
Whereas it must have really been trying to honestly replicate what the AFL's thinking process is with those first 4.
Hey, David, guess what?
We gotta freeze off.
Cerra's ban has been downgraded to a fine. He's free to play.
All right, excellent.
There you go. It's
All
done.
right. Yeah, that's what they wanted. I mean, it shouldn't even be a fine because that's stupid, but they just said, screw it, we'll just do that. It'll be simpler. And then I'm sure they're right.
If this was the final point that ChatGPT said was, if this was presented at tribunal, you'd lean on the idea that the incident fell within the bounds of a physical contest, the contact was minor and reflexive, and there was no excessive force or injury. A fine would suffice, not a suspension. I want to write this sentence down, and if the AFL statement comes out with that, we will bust them for using ChatGPT.
Yo, man, too bad you can't screenshot that whole thing. That was actually really, really good. The counter arguments.
I think we're going to add ChatGPT to the Blue or Broad tribunal streams from now on.
Yeah, but only for counter arguments.
Yeah, only for counter arguments.
Otherwise, it was
Very
pretty
good.
much giving us the stupidity that they think.
Yeah. Very, very good. All right. David, mate,
Yeah.
thanks for joining.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Great results. It's stupid that this even had to happen. So now just got to find out what happens to Hinge.
Yes.
Because if they do the same thing, then well, fine. So glad Cerra just got the fine. But
yeah. Awesome. All right, mate. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Okay. You two prepare for Adelaide. Did the bogey side.
Yes, sir. All right. Go Blues. All right, guys. An hour and 20 minutes later, and Adam Cerra's ban has been downgraded to a fine. He's free to play. I would think we're going to get a statement from the tribunal. I don't know if it comes out straight away, but I think in the end, common sense did prevail. And that's the main thing. So, challenge the fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to film the preview for round 8 against the Crows, and that'll be out later on today, as will the Biased Footy Show, 6 p.m. with myself and Ari. So I'll see you during the preview. I will also see you during the Biased Footy Show. Also, don't forget, the raffle is now open for the 99 All-Australian International Rules tracksuit, matching tracksuit. So get your tickets. If you're a member, you already have a free ticket, a free entry. We're going to draw it out next week. Otherwise, go Blues. See you soon.